Okay, apologies for this lighting and also this fringe, it's diabolical, but it's the best I got right now. In this video, I'm gonna do my evening skincare routine. I've also done a morning skincare routine, but I think the evening is a lot more pivotal to making an impact in the way that your skin looks. It certainly was for mine. You've probably seen this photo more times than your dad recently, but that is how my skin used to look. I had clogged pores in every pore, like every pore was clogged. And then from about September to February, so however many months that is, like 5 or 6, I'm gonna start getting ready as I say this. I figured out a way to have a skincare routine that would unclog all of my pores and also keep them unclogged, because throughout my life I may not have had like chronic acne, but I've always had skin that breaks out very easily from products and especially get those just tiny little clogs. I've always noticed that and I feel like I get them more than other people, which is why I talk about clog prone skin, which someone has made fun of online. I don't really care, but I saw someone said like, oh, is that clog prone skin girl, as if it's like not a real thing. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's not a medically recognized term, but in my head I think it just describes a lot of us, and that is who I make content for most of the time, but obviously my content can be for whoever you want it to be for. So I'm going to show you the exact routine that I used back then with a couple of small changes, mainly because some things got discontinued. I always wear this headband and I always wear these cuffs. It's not skincare propaganda, like it's actually so helpful to wear cuffs and a headband, in my opinion, because the double cleansing can get messy. So before I cleanse, I always grab 2 things, 2, not 4. These being a soft cloth. You can see the texture of this here. It's like microfibery, but it's not microfiber, but that's kind of how I've described it in the past, but it's not technically a microfiber cloth. I just type in anywhere super soft face cloth and they tend to come up, or you can get them in Superdrug, Amazon, Primark, loads of places. Or you can buy the makeup eraser. Makeup erasers are like the original. They're kind of expensive. They are better, but you don't need them. They're just really nice to have. One of these, clean every single day. And then a regular face cloth or towel. I think a face cloth this size is better though, because a towel, you're gonna need to replace that every day and it's just gonna take up so much space. I will be honest and say this one is damp. It needs to be dry. This is damp because I've just taken it off my clothes horse because I've just been washing them all. So I'm actually gonna have to use a clean towel because I don't have any clean ones of these. People always ask me, do you actually need cloths or can you just use your hands? I don't think you need them. I just think you're missing out if you don't use them, and I'll explain why when I get into it. The first step is always washing your hands. It seems like common sense, but you'd be amazed at how many people are like, well, I'm gonna use a cleanser, so the cleanser will wash my hands. No, wash your hands. And then dry them, because you're going to be using an oil cleanser and you don't want to be using an oil cleanser on wet hands because it's just going to emulsify the oil cleanser before it needs to be emulsified, which is going to ruin your results and your experience. Really not sure about this lighting, but I just don't know what else I can do. We're going to just struggle on. One thing I forgot to show you is you need to have a phone. I'm using this so that I don't touch my phone because obviously it probably got dirt on it. You want to get your clock app up. I always do this before. I actually have 2 phones. I use one phone for content. You don't actually need 2 phones for this. Obviously you don't need 2 phones to do your skincare, that would be insane. But I like to listen to a podcast, put that on first, and then open my clock app. And you could set a timer like, you know, like this kind of timer, but I prefer to just set a stopwatch because I don't want to have to be like pressing an alarm to tell it to shut up. I just want to know what time has passed. What I was going to say is that on my other phone I'd have the podcast or whatever, but that's actually irrelevant. That was irrelevant. And then you take your oil cleanser, although this is kind of like a tutorial and telling you what I do. This is the Jordan Samuel After Show Treatment Cleanser for sensitive skin. I believe they discontinued the non-sensitive skin version. I use about this much because I just don't like to pull and tug at my face, so I'd always rather have more than less. Then I rub that into my hands like this, like not anything crazy. You can start to feel it melt in your hands. And then I will set the timer, just start it running, and then I'll massage this into my face. And I'm just keeping my eye on the timer, and I'll do this for at least 1 minute, sometimes 2, it depends on the day. What I normally do is I'll get like the whole of my face covered in the oil cleanser, and then I'll focus on like certain areas. So I'll do this for like roughly 20 seconds. Like it doesn't have to be super precise. You just want to make sure like all areas of your face get some attention and you're not focusing on one area rather than the other, and one area is not getting anything. You also want to focus in on areas, like what I normally do is I'll do the whole of my cleanse for the whole of my face, and then with the last like 20 seconds I will focus in on areas that are prone to congestion, like for example your nose with sebaceous filaments, and to be honest just like around the nose, because I think it's very easy to do a lot of this, and this might not even be your problem area or area where it tends to look congested. It's usually like this area. Now I can see my timer has got to 2. I'm definitely going to do something about this lighting in a second. It's got to 2, and so I'm going to bring like the remains of the cleanser down onto my neck because I used sunscreen on my neck today. I'm definitely not as thorough about the neck because I don't tend to break out there, but if you do break out on your neck, it's probably hormonal. So cleansing is important, but it's like a different kettle of fish, you know? Now I'm just gonna see if I can move my camera with 2 oily hands. This could go badly wrong, and also my editor's going to think I'm really weird. Do you know what? That is so much better. So I just added like a little spurt of water to my hands, and now this is emulsifying the cleanser. Added a little bit more. This bit is not precise. I don't want people to deep this bit too much. All I'm doing is making sure like every bit of oil cleanser on my face has basically touched water and been rubbed into it a little bit. Emulsifiers essentially help the cleanser carry itself off your face, can be washed off properly. And this is why it's generally not a good idea to use like kitchen oil or like random oils from your kitchen, because oil cleansers are not just oils, they are oils with many other things in them to make them work as a cleanser. Yeah, it's not just like coconut oil or olive oil, like I would not recommend doing that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just rinse this off my hands quickly. Then I'm gonna get the cloth. This is like really anal of me, but I like to get the more rough looking side first. I mean, this is just so unimportant, but I like doing this. I'm only letting my tap run because it needs to get a bit warm, by the way. And then I just saturated the cloth so that it's not dripping. So I like put it under the tap and then like rinse it out a little bit. And then this is why I like to use cloths, okay? Because you can choose not to do this, but it just makes your life harder and I think the result worse sometimes, because you inevitably, if you're not using a cloth every time, you are going to miss bits sometimes. It's going to give you breakouts you don't even realise are related to it. So I just get the cloth and I put my hand in it, and then I basically take all of it off in like one go, basically. Take a shot every time I say basically. I think it's really important as well, like use your finger to get under your eye. Some people can get blepharitis from using oil cleansers because they don't wash them away from their eyes properly, and their oil glands get clogged and you get like crusties. So I've just used that side to basically take all of it off, and because this is our first cleanse and we're doing a second cleanse, don't need to be too thorough about it. I actually fold the cloth like this, just something that I do, because then this side is touching the sink and then the inside is like kept away from anything that's on the sink, even though I do have a clean sink. And then I get my water-based cleanser. This is the Dr. Sam's Flawless Cleanser. I do about a pump and a half. Not really focusing, but you get the drill. I rub it in between my hands and then I add a little bit of water. Obviously this cleanser, it doesn't foam. I've still got my stopwatch going as well, by the way, so I can see it says like 6:11 now. So at 7:11 I will stop. But this cleanser, it requires, like, if you don't add water, you will be like wading your way through your face. Like you just won't be able to use it. If you have a foaming cleanser, you probably don't need to add as much water as you do to the Dr. Sam's one. So tailor that to your water-based cleanser. It's really important as well that you use a water-based cleanser instead of a second oil-based cleanser, because the water-based cleanser needs to wash off any of the residue left behind by the oil-based cleanser, or it might break you out. But you also ideally are not using 2 water-based, wow, look at me right now, beauty queen. You also don't want to be using 2 water-based cleansers because you're not going to get the benefit of the oil cleanser, and 2 water-based cleansers can dry your skin out a lot more. So it's just, double cleansing really is not, again, propaganda. I keep saying that. Like, it actually makes so much sense and I swear by it, and I think it's made a huge difference to my skin. Just get that last bit on the neck as well. And now I am getting a little bit of water on my hands and just kind of like loosen it up. This probably isn't needed if you have a foaming cleanser. And now I'm just going to wash it off properly with the cloth. So I just re-wet this cloth and I'm using the side that I haven't used, although it's not really that deep, but I do think it makes sense, like it's not any more effort. Put your hand in it, and then because the Dr. Sam's cleanser is a gel, it just comes off almost in clumps, and you just want to remove like as much of it as possible, basically. I just think the cloths make such a big difference. It makes the whole process so much easier, because if I was just doing this with water over the sink, it would be even messier than it already is, and I wouldn't have as much surface area to use as the cloth. I'd be having to use my fingers to like feel it all out in. I just don't think it makes sense, basically, but obviously each to their own. So then I put this in my laundry bin, so that's done. And now I use the water and I just rinse manually, and I will make sure with my fingers to like get in here and in my eye sockets, just so that no stone is left unturned. And you want the water to be tepid, you don't want it to be hot, because I think we all know by now, hot water is not good for your skin. Okay, so hello lighting. Now that my face is like completely clean but it's wet and I want to put my actives on and my actives require my skin to be dry, I'm gonna go get a dry towel. I'm a bit nervous though because I just moved and I bought all new towels and that was a huge mistake because now they just leave fluff all over my hands. So if anyone has any tips for that, please let me know because it's actually really bothering me. So I just put my hands in the towel and I just press it into my face. Obviously don't rub, just press and it will absorb. Nice. Now I'm gonna see if I can get some better lighting for the second part. I really hope other YouTubers don't watch this because it's so embarrassing. Like, my lighting is so bad. The thing is, I do have lighting. I just moved and I don't know where it is. And I want to make this video. It's a bit Blair Witchy, but maybe that's my vibe. So my evening skincare routine, which does all the heavy lifting for those clogged pores, consists of 2 main actives. There are 2 other things that I'll mention, but 2 main actives. I use Differin as my retinoid for my cheeks and chin, and I use Finacea as my azelaic acid, both prescription. I do like non-prescription products. I just think life is very simple with prescription products. I can tolerate them, they give me great results. No one's ever gonna turn around and reformulate this. Like, it's kind of a safe option for me and I don't tend to fix what's not broken. So I do recommend other products on my blog. I have a list of like alternatives to these, but you don't have to use these. In fact, when I originally got rid of those clogged pores, I was using 0.1% retinaldehyde, which is over the counter, and this is 0.1% Differin. So tonight I'm gonna use Differin. I like to take this much. It's like just less than a pea size. It gives me the option to add more if I want to later. I distribute a little bit onto my like secondary finger. And then I just like spread a super thin layer. I actually have like slightly more detailed videos on applying a retinoid on TikTok, probably most other platforms. And I think it will also be in the description box of this YouTube video. But I mean, it's basically all the same thing. You want a thin, even layer. You don't want like a big chunky layer because you're not gonna get more results. You're just gonna get more side effects. And Differin leaves the skin tacky for a second, so you can always feel where you've missed, if that makes sense. I just do the rest on my nose and down onto the sides, but not into the folds. It might make its way there anyway, but I'm not gonna be the person who puts it there directly. So that's the face below the eyes taken care of. Then because my fingers have just had Differin on them, I use my tretinoin on the forehead. This is 0.015 tretinoin and nothing else from Dermatica. I always get asked why I use Dermatica and Differin. Honestly, it's a mixture of reasons. I used to use this all over my face and I honestly loved it. Then I started getting perioral dermatitis, which people say is from the tret, but I actually got it from the dentist, an oral hygienist appointment that traumatized me. That's a story for another day. But yeah, Differin is way less irritating than tret and I love the results I get from both, but this one is way easier for me to tolerate without getting dermatitis around my mouth. So that's why I switched to this. And then I honestly just didn't want to change my forehead. And I do get this for free. To be honest, I get a lot of stuff for free. It doesn't mean that I use it or think it's good. I would not put the future of my forehead / face aging into a product that I didn't think was good. If that makes sense, like I care about my skin not aging prematurely, and between the products that I use, I think I'm doing the best that I can. So just because I am gifted this, I think you get the point. Anyway, this is probably one of the weirdest videos I've ever made. Oh, and also this really improved some of the lines because I don't really have lines on my forehead, but this side is a lot more active than this side for whatever reason. And when I was younger, I'll try and put a picture here. When I was younger, like this used to stay. I was literally like 21, 22 and I had these lines here because this, probably I was dehydrated, but this eyebrow is overactive. And I haven't ever had Botox in my forehead ever, but this really improved that. So I just didn't want to like change it when it needing to be changed. Then I used my retinoid eye cream. This is, oh, these never show up on camera. The Medicae Crystal Retinal Ceramide Eye 10, which is equivalent to 0.1% retinaldehyde. I apply about this much and then I just put it around my eyes. It always looks like very messy and look like I've used way too much, but it's actually just very pigmented. I like to put it all the way up into here, into the crow's feet and up onto my lid. I actually don't recommend putting it on your lid to almost anyone unless you're like very experienced with using retinoid eye creams. I just never seem to get any kind of reaction. So I feel I can be quite like sloppy with it, to be honest, just because I've never had my eyes have a problem with it. I did get dry eye from a retinoid once, but my dermatologist told me it was going to be reversible and it was. It's actually why I stopped using prescription retinoids as my under eye cream, because I know people are like, you can just bring that up to your waterline or up to your under eye, and I agree, like you can do that. Some people can get away with that, but it gave me my meibomian gland dysfunction, which is dry eye. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's irreversible, and it's like, it obviously depends on the person, and this obviously isn't medical advice, but in my case it was very much reversible. And now I just use strong retinoid eye creams instead of prescription retinoids on my under eyes, and the dry eye completely went away and I'm completely fine. So
yeah. And now that I've got all this on, I wait minimum 10 minutes. Sometimes I end up waiting like an hour, not on purpose, just because I like go have dinner and then I'm like, oh, I'll put it on in a second, or like when I go to the loo. People always ask me like, is it 100% necessary to wait? I don't think it's 100% necessary, but I personally notice my skin stings sometimes if I don't wait. So I like to, and I just think I have the time. I don't find it particularly laborious. I'm kind of used to it. So usually I do wait. But if I'm in a rush or like I have to go or I get home late and I don't want to wait like half an hour before I go to bed, and I just put it on anyway. And then my last 2 steps, oh my God, it really is like a haunted house. My last 2 steps are the same as what's in my morning routine. The Purito Unscented Centella Serum and the Cetaphil Daily Hydrating Moisturiser. And then I'll do my LED mask, but controversially, I do my LED mask after my skincare, but I always wait like 4 hours. So it's like 6:30 p.m. now. I always do my skincare at like 5 or 6. I actually can't wait to do it. And then when I get into bed at like 10:30, I'll do my mask. So I don't talk about it that much in videos because I know it's controversial advice, but in my opinion, it's actually fact. Like, it's not just my opinion, but your skincare isn't like perpetually working on your skin. It depends on the skincare, but like say I put this on, this is not still doing something at 8 a.m. the next day. It just sinks in, it does its job, and it's done. You know, it's not perpetually working. So in the morning tomorrow, a lot of people will be like, shouldn't you wash your retinoid off? And it's like, my retinoid is dead. It's not doing anything. It doesn't need to be washed off. It doesn't exist on my face anymore, if that makes sense. Whereas if you've been like slugging with Vaseline, of course that's on your face. It's physically on your face. You can feel it because it's an occlusive product. It's a barrier cream. It creates a film. So yeah, you need to wash that off. But these products, like, they are dead and buried by like 3-4 hours max, I'd say, and that's why I use my LED mask after it, and I never get any issues. But what I won't do, say if I get home at like 10:30 p.m, I won't do my skincare with my retinoid and then do my mask immediately. I'll just be like, I'm not using the mask today, or I use it the next morning. I'm not going to show you this because I'm going to have a bath and sort my life out, but I hope this lighting looks better on screen than it does on this little screen on the camera. I can barely see my own face, but I hope it's good enough.